Now take a moment. Look around. Notice that everybody has been rejected at least once in their lives. Hello, my name is Swara Mahajan. Today I'm going to be talking about acceptance of rejection from a child's perspective. I want you all to imagine a time that you were rejected. Think about how you felt then. For example, if your friends went to see a movie without you, you would feel left out, right? Rejections hurt the most when they come from people that you are close to. It's near to impossible to decide who you are surrounded by, but it is possible to choose who you get attached to. When I was around 5 years old, I moved to America. Now, over there, I had to start my education as well, and the problem was that I couldn't speak English. Every person that I could try to talk to couldn't respond back because they couldn't speak the same language as me. It took me a while to understand that they weren't rejecting me, but my means of communication. For months, I studied hard. I spoke English in the house. I started writing down a page of English every day until finally I could make some new friends. Did you know one of the major rejections in a child's life is family rejection? I have a friend who lives in the opposite society. He loves playing with his younger sibling, but whenever his younger sibling wants a toy, he has to give it to him. Otherwise, he'll go to his parents complaining, and the parents always take the younger sibling's side. This is an example of favoritism or parental rejection. It causes one of the kids to feel neglected and the other one to be spoiled. However, this isn't the only reason why kids can feel neglected. In today's day and age, there are so many distractions like social media and work that we can sometimes forget to spend time with our own families. When I was around 6 years old, I came back to India. At this time, I had started first grade and I had forgotten Hindi this time. I had to join extra courses to help me catch up with my classes in school. And a year into my courses, my teacher gave me a lot of homework, and I had decided to put my full 100% into it. For hours, I sat down finishing my work, but when I gave it to her, her reaction was completely different than what I'd expected. She had said that I hadn't tried hard enough on my project. The reason that this hurt so much was because this rejection came from a person that I held in a very high standard. And because rejections hurt the most when you are under the age of 5. Because you cannot understand the psychology of rejections and therefore cannot figure out how to overcome them. So it's important for parents to be by their kids' side at this time to help them understand how to overcome, how to cope, and how to deal with rejection. Now, we have talked about the kids with an average school, an average life, average families. But what about the kids with not so average lives? An approximate of 5% of kids are ADHD, and these percentages are increasing year by year. ADHD means attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It makes kids impulsive and hyper. My cousin also suffers from ADHD. After observing him for a while, I started to understand how society treats them. When he was around 10 to 12 years old, we went to a garden together. Now, he absolutely adored playing on the swings and he had to play there for an hour every day. So, on that particular day, the park was very crowded and we had to wait in queue for a long time. My cousin had gotten very impatient and pushed her child who was on the swings right off. Now, the mother was very angry and said, "Why do they come outside if they have kids like these?" This might have seemed like a few simple words to the woman, but the impact that it had was tremendous. My aunt was so distraught, she wasn't able to explain to my cousin the situation, and at this point, he knew why people spoke such things, but what he didn't know is that it's very hard to change people's opinions. Normally, we don't invite these kids to social gatherings or parties because they don't behave in a way that we have decided as a standard way of behaving, like eating with a spoon or holding a glass with a firm grip. And when we do invite them, we end up avoiding them, boycotting them, not talking to them, and not sitting with them. Now, their reaction to all of this has so many bottled emotions inside of them, and they don't know how to express themselves properly. So, the way they do is by becoming overly aggressive, angry, or silent. After observing this for a while, the parents stop taking them to parties or functions, and when they realize this, they take it as a rejection from their parents. These kids are so often facing rejection from society that rejections from parents can shatter them. Did you know that rejection is even worse when you have ADHD? A third of them actually have RSD or rejection sensitive dysphoria, meaning that a small rejection that causes us mild humiliation can shatter them. I have discussed with a couple of parents and my aunt as well. What I realized from talking to them is that we can make really small changes in our mentality and in our behavior to make the child feel accepted. Otherwise, they will always feel like they aren't a part of society, and we don't want that. The thing we all need to understand is that rejections are normal, they are part of life. There will always be people that reject you in life, and the best action is to just deal with it. This isn't only for the ADHD kids here, but to all of you. Rejections are part of life. They have happened to you, and they are going to happen again. This is important to remember that to have self, you need to have self-worth. Don't crave for other people's acceptance, crave for your own. If you live for people's acceptance, you will die from their rejection. Lecrae. I don't have disappointments because I build myself up for rejection. Nicholas Holtz. When you learn how to master rejection, you get one step closer to winning over your mind. These people whose names I have just spoken have learned how to master rejection, how to overcome it, how to deal with it, and how to cope with it. And we can too. Thank you.